What is going on, guys, and welcome to a new video. And today we're doing something a little bit different. It's actually a social race. If you don't know what a social race is, it's basically a league race, but not really an official one. But this is an official one because it's done by this esports team called Shazoo, so shout out to them. But it's not like a league as such, it's just we're doing two races today. The first one is Britain, short qualifying, 25%. And the second one is Spa, with a reverse grid of the first race. So yeah, we're going straight into it. We're in quali here at Silverstone. This is not really something I practice for because it's just something you turn up, have some fun. So yeah, I wasn't really expecting to be too high up on the grid. Our first lap wasn't great at 24.1, which is very slow, as we lost about a tenth there due to some oversteer at Cops. But yeah, I think the fastest time at the moment is at 23.7, and as you can see, we're not currently anywhere near that. So we are a little bit off the pace in qualifying, but as usual, my race pace should be able to keep me sort of in the fight because it's not as big of a gap in the race usually, the pace difference. And yeah, so coming towards the end of the lap, it's not been great. I do believe it's going to be a 24.0, which realistically is quite a bit off the pace. I think a good lap's about a 23.4, but obviously we didn't practice for this, so we don't really have a good setup. I had a setup that I used pretty much at the start of the game, so anywhere in like the mid 23s would be good. But starting our final lap now, we've left enough time just in case we mess this up to go again, so that's always good. But we're going to turn 3, a little bit down on our time. We do hook up the car quite nicely, we're a little bit up, but overall it's not been a brilliant first sector, but not a bad one as well. So yeah, we just got to try to stay focused, get the lap in, and maybe go for one final one if we have to. But yeah, so far Brooklands is quite nice. We're not up too much though, so it doesn't look like it's going to be a brilliant improvement so far, but we know there's time at Cops. From the last lap where we had lots of oversteer, so we try and do it a bit nicer. We don't get any oversteer, and we gain quite a bit of time there. So we're over a tenth and a half up now, which is good. Coming through Maggotts and Beckett's, and we cut the inside of Beckett's, I believe it to be, and that is that lap done. And we haven't got a lot of time. We've got about 30 seconds. But one thing we have to do is we have to cool the tyres down. So that is a bit of a problem because the tyres here, if they overheat a little bit too much, you're just going to be sliding and losing no time. As we have to let Williams pass there, which is a little bit annoying because we have to slow down even more. And he's now slowing up, so we have to get a gap, but there's another car coming, there's a Mercedes coming, so we have to let him go. And now we've really got to get on it because there's only 8 seconds left in the session, and we really need to get a lap in because our current lap isn't very good. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and we just get across the line. I think the Shadow set the fastest lap of 23.6 to go provisional P1. And we just get across the line, so that's not, well, it's not bad, but it wasn't not great putting us in a position like that. As the first sector isn't great, but we do get some very nice traction out of the loop, and we're just under a tenth up, so we are actually up on what our previous lap was going to be, which is always good. And now I'm just thinking I've got to send it. I've got to just try and do a good lap. As we can see, there's a little bit of oversteer. Come through Brooklands now, and there's just so much oversteer. That's not great at all. We have a massive moment, and we lose just about a tenth. And now the tyres are overheated, so all the good work we've done has now been undone, and that probably cost us a tenth and a half, maybe 2 tenths overall, because now the tyres are going to struggle. But we have to still get this lap and we are still up. So yeah, we need any improvement we can get really. As Ron Haas sets to 23.5, which is a pretty decent lap. We're not going to be anywhere near that, but we just need to do anything we can to get up the grid. Yeah, we're just under 2 tenths up. Coming to the final chicane now, we hook it up quite nicely, but the rear end is really starting to struggle here after the oversteer moment. The tyres were quite hot. And in the end we set 23.8, which I think for no practice laps is quite alright. It's respectable enough. And on PC they go a lot quicker, but that's with a lot of practice of course. And yeah, I think it's decent. So moving on to the race now. We are in P5, of course. And we just need to get a good start and just keep our nose clean. Because the guys in front of us, they're in front of us for a reason, because they're very quick. And it's going to be hard to beat them. But we're going to give it our all. It's 25% race, remember. So yeah, we've got the 5 lights now. And it's lights out and away we go. Not very well. We have a poor start as the Ferrari of Linus goes right round our outside. We've got a car on our inside. We're being boxed in, and we have to force Linus out because there was a car on the inside. We didn't want to get tagged by him. That means we keep 5th position. It's a little bit this is racing distance sort of thing. It's a bit harsh on him, but we couldn't do anything other than that. But we do keep a position, which is good. Now, we're thinking about having a little move on Jonas, but then we just turn it down, turn the ERS down, and we're not going to go for anything on that one as Sparks goes very wide. That might create any opportunities if Jonas went around the outside, but he doesn't. He just gets to switch back on him, so that doesn't give us any opportunity. So we're just going to try and stick it in this position now, consolidate this position, and fight towards the end as Sparks are making a few mistakes up in front, which will keep us nice and tight behind him. And yeah, we want to save our ERS basically for the last few laps. We don't want to use it up unnecessarily as we go wide and get a silly warning straight away on that one. I think that just proves that we haven't really practiced at all for this. Otherwise, I would not be doing that. But yeah, it's been I'd say a decent first lap as we get a bit of an oversteer moment there as F1 Ben behind us has decided to pit on lap 1, and that really got me thinking. If he's going for the undercut already, because that's something you can do in 25% races, just get out of the train, get away from other cars, you can pit early. Your tyres will be a little bit worn towards the end, but you can just get a massive undercut. And now on to lap 3, we're still right behind the Red Bull of Jonas in front of us. And I've just decided to go for it. Lap 3, we're going in, we're pitting already. And we're going to go onto the medium tyre, just try and get an undercut or something on these guys. Yeah, as I saw F1 Ben do it, I thought, why not? I was in a party with another driver, and he also did was planning to do the same thing. But yeah, we just went up earlier than him. So in the pits now, going on to the medium tyre, and we really need to get a good outlap here because I presume some of the guys are going to react to us pitting, and if they do that, of course, the undercut isn't going to be as it's not going to gain us the same sort of thing if they stayed out a few more laps. So yeah, we just got to try and do as best as we can. We've got a lot of ERS, we've got 100% ERS basically to use on this outlap, and hopefully we gain a bit of time. As I believe a few of the guys did pit, so we got Ronha, who I believe was in P2, or he might have even been in the lead, but he was up there at least. He is just in front of us, he's just out of our DRS. But Jonas has lost 1.8 seconds to us, so we've gained on him, and that is really good, as Ronha had a little bit of pace advantage on us. He gained about 3 or 4 tenths in 2 laps, but there is actually a safety car, and that changes everything, because now with a safety car we are bunched up right behind everyone, and we are now P2 as the safety car comes in now, so that has really worked out for us for once. And yeah, so behind Ronha, I wasn't planning on going for a move too early. I wanted to go for it on the last lap or two, because I know he's very quick. He's a bit quicker than us, I think that's fair to say at the moment. Yeah, we got a lot of fuel, we've got a lot of grip now because the safety cars allowed us to save some of our tyres because we pitted a lap early. And yeah, we just got to try and stick with him and wait for the DRS, because that'll be where we'll be able to pass. And yeah, because he's quite a quick driver compared to us at this track. So of course all these guys, they've done league races around this, so they probably didn't even need to practice for this. If they did, that's just adding even more to it. They do league races, they've got all the setups done already. We haven't got a setup. We came on about 10 minutes before, loaded up a setup from TT, and then changed it a bit to one we used at the start of the game, and that was that. But coming on to the final lap now, we are right behind Ronha, and we have to make the move now because we've got no more laps, and if we want to win this, yeah, we've got to do the move now as we get a bit of oversteer. So the move's not going to be on quite this second. because I think he had a bit more ERS than me at this stage, just because he had a pace advantage he didn't need to use as much. But we are still very much in striking range. We are very close to him, but I was really kind of struggling on the exit of corners. But we do decide to use a bit of an overtake, and we get very close to him now. We're literally less than a tenth behind him, going into Copse. And do we have a little look from him? We go to the outside, but this is where I mess up. I let him go because I thought he was going to maybe break for the DRS, because that's what you would do on the last game. But on this game, because of the overtake, he now gets a monster exit, and because of the overtake, as I just said, he doesn't lose that much out to the DRS. So yeah, we don't get the move, and we've bottled it basically. We get our second warning there, and we are going to come home P2. So yeah, it's not great. We did bottle it. But the only positive I can take from that is we're going to start in front of him for the next race at Spa, because it is going to be a reverse grid. I do believe people who got like disqualified or something go behind us, but we're basically at the back for race 2. And as you can see, it is full wet conditions, which is very interesting. As we've got the 5 lights now, and it's lights out, and we actually get a good start for once compared to everyone else. But the Renault in front of us is a bit of a moment. We have to back out of it, and I think that's the Mercedes who does lose a bit of his front wing on that Renault. So we just don't want to get any damage here. We're getting boxed in, we're dropping positions, we're now basically last, we're in 19th. But we just don't want to get damage. I'll take being last with no damage and still behind the pack. As we do get past the racing point going up into Eau Rouge, which is very good because you don't have to get stuck behind in. So now we've just got to try and pick off a few cars where we can and just don't get damage at any cost, because I do believe it is going to dry up towards the end of this race. It's only 11 laps that cost 25%, but Spa is the longest track on the calendar. So yeah, as we go around the outside of Choco in the Williams, who does hang it in there, he's still on our inside, we're still going side by side. And are we going to get this move done? Braking late, he's boxed in a little bit behind the McLaren, and I've decided to go for it here. We're going to go around the outside of the Williams, and now we're going to go around the outside of the McLaren, and we now get the inside for the no-name corner. And we get 2 positions basically in a few corners, so that's very good. Now the car's going side by side ahead of us. It's the Williams on the inside of Pouhon, and we decide to go round to the outside of Pouhon in the full wet conditions. And without trying to big myself up, I was very happy with that move, just to say the least. At the time, it was a very good move, to say the least, yeah. But now we are behind Danny F31, who was the Renault who had a bit of a twitch on at the start. So apart from that, he's actually had quite a decent start, but as you can see, he's struggling a little bit in these full wet conditions. Once again, we didn't really have a great setup for this race, and I did tweak it a little bit for the wet. But as you can see, there's a massive crash on the right hand side. That's about 2 or 3 cars that's off there, and that is going to bring out the safety car yet again. And now I was really thinking about going on Inters, because it's going to go to dry, and Mulder in the Haas, I believe it is, he goes in. But we, for some reason, decided to stay out. We just didn't want to risk it too much, as everyone else, other than Mulder, in front of us, stayed out. As there's another incident there, I think that's Sparks in the Mercedes. He's lost a bit of his front wing. Luckily for him, he's not going to lose too much of that because of the safety car. He'll lose a few positions, but that's not great for his race. As on the next lap, we do, all of us, decide to pit for the Inters. I think there's a few cars that stayed out, but most of us are in the pits. Now we've just basically got to hope and pray that we don't get held in the pits, because one thing with this game, I know a lot of you would have seen it, the pit stops are broken, to put it like frankly. They just don't work. Like, you just get held for so long and it's ridiculous. It basically dictates and decides the race. We do get held a little bit, not too much luckily. But a lot of the esports races are decided because of the pit stops, not from the actual driving. The esports challenger events, that is, because I know in the proper esports they do make the cars ghost or something like that. But I don't know why I haven't done that for the actual game, because it's game breaking, to be honest. But now we are on lap 3, and the safety car didn't stay out long, luckily. And we are behind the Williams of Immortal again, the guy who went around the outside of at Pouhon. And we need to get this move done quick, because there are a few cars ahead of us on Inters, sorry. I think that's a few more cars now going in for Inters, because they didn't go in the lap before, and the safety cars come in straight away, so they've been a little bit screwed by that. As we're having a little look on the inside of Immortal, but he does go a bit deep, so now we've got to hope we get some good traction as we do, and we're going to be side by side out of turn 1 using the overtake button, and towards Eau Rouge we do get the position. So now we're into P7, we've got Danny F31 again ahead of us. I feel like he's been ahead of us a lot of this race. As there's a car from the left, I'm not sure who that is. I think it's the Alfa Romeo Hunted. So that's another position for us, that's good, we're into P6 now. I think there's one more car on the wets in front of us, the rest are on Inters, as there is a massive gaggle, or a massive battle even, of cars ahead of us, so we've just got to try and make sure we don't get caught up too much in this battle, and hopefully don't lose any of the front wingers. That's F1 Ben, the man who pitted early on the last race. He pitted early again, and that is him out. He has lost his front wheel after getting spun. And there's another incident, this Langman off, and he's half spun. He does actually, luckily for him, not get any damage, so he's not totally out of it, but that's really going to damage his race, as we are once again behind Danny, trying to get a move, as he brakes very early compared to us there, and I nearly went straight to the back of him. But we need to get in front of him now, because Mulder in the lead is very quick, and he's going to be very hard to catch if he gets too far away. And as you can see, we're all over Danny F31. We've got so much more grip than him, and surely it's just a matter of time before we get this move done. Using the overtake button, he defends kind of the inside. He's just telling me not to go for it there, so we don't go for it here, and we're going to maybe look for the outside into this corner, as he has a bit of a twitch there. It should make this move a little bit easier. We go to the outside, Mulder goes a bit deep. We get the inside line for the final corner. But Danny does get the switch back on us, so he gets a nice traction compared to us as we understeered through the bus stop. But we should get this position into turn 1. He brakes late on us, but we will have the inside line. And we do get the position. Now it's about 1.5 seconds, if not a bit more, to Mulder ahead. And on to lap 9 now. We have actually caught him, but as you can see there, the DRS has been enabled, and that means the dry tyre is now the quicker tyre to be on. The Inter still felt at this point we didn't really know if we should pit, because there's only 2 laps left, and usually if we're still going green like we are now, it probably would be worth it to stay on Inters. But my theory was that the fact that Spa is such a long track compared to most, it's nearly a 2-minute lap time currently, I think it might be worth to pit. I want to be the one hunting down, not the one getting hunted on the last 2 laps, as it was very hard to pass Mulder as it is in the Inter conditions. But yeah, we are quite close to it, but this was really the closest I could get, really, because as I just said, it's very hard to stay close to someone in the wet conditions. But as you can see, change strategy. Jeff is telling us to go on the soft tyre, and we are going to indeed box this lap. We got Choco behind us in the Williams. He was near us at the start of the race. He is right behind us. He had some great pace at the stage of the race, as we're braking very nicely. Mulder goes a bit deep. Does he go into the pits? No, he doesn't. So we go into the pits, and so does Choco behind us. I think Jonas stays out as well. So there's 2 cars staying on the Inters at least, and there's 2 of us coming in for the soft compound tyre. So this is going to be a very interesting finish to this race. Hopefully we don't get held in the pits at all. I don't think we will. But I do believe it's going to be about a 15-second gap to, I think, Jonas. It might be even more to Mulder. Well, it will be more to him because he's in the lead, but it's going to be very hard to close down the gap. As you can see, it's about 15 seconds to Jonas, but that will just extend on this straight because obviously we've had poor traction compared to that. But at the end of lap 10, we have caught about 7 seconds on Jonas in this lap, and you see Danny F31 once again is in front of us. And now we are going on to the final lap in P4. Can we get this done? There's about 8 seconds to Mulder in front, as I wanted to get the DRS on Danny, but as you can see, he's just got no grip compared to us in soft tyre. And we are now back into the podium positions, and it is 6.5 seconds now to Mulder ahead after that turn 1, so we are just gaining time hand over fist. As Choco is still behind us, he has a penalty now, but I kind of want to win on track. He is in the DRS of us, and we're not going to be gaining really any time on the Inters guys on the straight, so it's going to have to all be in this middle and final sector if we're going to do it. And these last 2 laps, they were qualifying laps, they were really on edge. It was as quick as I could go, and there you can see Jonas, he is right in front of us now. You can just see the lack of grip he has compared to us. We need to get past him soon, so we can get onto the back of Mulder as quick as possible. He's not going to make it too easy, but it's going to be easy in the end, just from the grip advantage. And it looks like we're now going to be able to do it, because Mulder is only a second half in front of us into the final sector of the last lap here at Spa. As we go to the outside, he defends it, but as you can see there, he's got no grip, and we go into P1. But as I was saying, I want to win on track. We've got Choco now. He is only 3 tenths behind us, yes, with the penalty, but you always want to win on track. You don't want to win because of penalties. And we have basically run out of ERS, so we could be a little bit under threat here, as he is getting a bit of a run on us. We defend the inside. He has a look round the outside. We break deep, so we can't go round the outside. Have the inside line for the final corner, and he is not going to get us. So we are going to win this race in Spa, and yeah, making up for the last race in Britain. So yeah, I do hope you did enjoy that. It's something different. I have another one of these maybe to upload next week. I'm not sure if I will. It's a classic cars race, and also to mention, I've got the TSR Abu Dhabi race that should have been out a few days ago, but I'm having some issues with copyright as usual, so that's delayed, unfortunately. But yeah, that's that. And thank you guys for watching. Please remember to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video.